Howdy, folks. Wanted to make a quick video here to talk about a reflective personal narrative that you folks will be writing in conjunction with reading a reflective narrative, The Catcher in the Rye. So as you're reading this story, that's obviously like 200 pages, you're not going to have to write a 200-page novel, but you are going to write, a couple-page reflection over an event in your life. So just wanted to go over this assignment with you, show you some of the resources that I have available, kind of set you on your way. So first off, this is really an assignment that's dealing with your writing ability. Particularly, we're going to write narratives that are going to explore real events. They're going to be using some effective writing techniques that we're going to learn about. We're going to choose some specific details, and we're going to try to structure these in a traditional kind of narrative format. And those will be outlined, those types of details and things will be outlined in the coming lessons that I'll post up each week from here until the end of the semester. So the other thing that we're going to work on is engaging and orienting the reader. Again, this is just a writing technique where I really want to see us set out a problem, kind of in an exposition to a story, establish a clear point of view, like what are we learning about, and create a smooth progression of events. So basically, writing a narrative, writing a story that makes sense. So for this assignment, you're going to think about, brainstorm, and choose an event or experience in your life that has been meaningful to you. And this can be portrayed, I'm going to say, fictionally or non-fictionally. You're going to be the main character, like it's a personal narrative, so you have to kind of write from the first person perspective, I. But how am I going to know that you're going to, if you're going to make up a couple details here and there, you're going to write exactly what happened? So you can express a little bit of creative license in order to convey a thought or an idea. So I'm going to ask that you go through our traditional writing process, like do some brainstorm, do some pre-writing, get your ideas down, plan an outline, and I will link a graphic organizer for you to use that will help you kind of plan a structure to your narrative. I'm going to want you to draft, revise, and edit, and then put together a final draft, right? So write it, let it sit, tinker with it, and edit, revise, and then final turn it in. Should be about 2 to 3 pages long, and I'm leaving this open to your interpretation of what a narrative can be. So it can be like a straight up personal essay. You could write it like a short story or even a poem. There's some great narrative poems that I'll link to a little bit later down. So make sure you're taking a look at this. There's an important one here that I'm going to highlight. The timeline of your story can be no longer than 5 minutes. That's tough. And why I do that is because I want you to set your story, set it in motion at the most critical moment of your experience or your thoughts, your reflection, right? So if you're telling me about a fishing trip that you went on, or a fight that you had with your best friend or something like that, I don't know. Don't tell me, the day by day, play by play of your story. That's a bad story, right? I got up and I brushed my teeth, and then I got a phone call and a text, and I took care of that. Then I went and had breakfast, and I had to brush my teeth again. And I got in my car and I went to school, and there I met Sally. And Sally was talking about this issue that she had. Boring story, right? I don't want to hear about the hours of your day. I want to hear about the most critical moment, the part where where something happened and made you realize something. And so only 5 minutes. Only 5 minutes can elapse during the course of your story. Now you can reflect during that 5 minutes, right, on things that have happened prior, but the action of the story can only take 5 minutes. For example, Catcher in the Rye, it's 200 pages, but it only takes place over 2 days, right? So about 100 pages per day, and even then, we kind of jump from scene to scene. All right, so in this story, we're also going to practice some of our narrative elements. So we're going to work on an exposition, complication or conflict and rising action, and then we're going to resolve that. So I've got some suggestions here. I've got some great links to stories that you might want to take a read through, and some of these stories you'll be reading as part of our narrative unit. And then I've also got some ideas on how do I get started? What does this process look like? And even some ideas to get your brain moving. Cool. So this is what you're working on over the next couple of weeks. My suggestion is going to be each one of these narrative units is going to come out by week. And you can kind of think of this as like a daily activity. So I'll post all these up at the beginning of Monday. So maybe you do this writing practice on Monday, you do this narrative practice for expositions on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you're reading Catcher in the Rye, and you're starting to brainstorm and plan your own narrative, right? So I think these activities will be doable, and in addition to reading the story and writing your narrative, in a week. That's my goal for all of these. All right. If you do have any other questions, be sure to let me know. And good luck, folks.